going to talk about the importance of regular inspections. Hello, this is Ed Wagner with Empire Property Management. And today you're going to get the inside scoop from a property manager that has done thousands of inspections. So I've been managing properties since 1999, professionally since 2003. And so at this point, we manage hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of units, and we've done thousands and thousands of inspections company-wide. Personally, I've done thousands of inspections company-wide, probably tens of thousands. So we're really good at it, and so we're going to get into the reasons why. Here we go. Why inspect at all? So it seems to be a no-brainer to us, but apparently, and I see it often, there are property management companies and landlords who do not inspect the properties. Basically, they just collect rent, they don't inspect, and to us it's a real problem, and for two reasons that you really need to inspect. You got to keep up with maintenance. Everything on the property starts wearing out basically the day it's installed or the day the building is finished. So it's really important that you keep up with all that because it doesn't get any cheaper to repair or maintain these items. So, and oftentimes it costs more. So a small leak can turn into, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of repairs instead of, maybe less than $100. And so it's really important to keep up with those issues. And the second one is keep up with tenant issues. So tenants are people, just like property managers and landlords are people. We're all wired a bit different. And so it's really important that a property manager make sure that the tenants are keeping up their end of the bargain, meaning they're supposed to be paying rent on time and they're supposed to be helping with the maintenance of the property. That means keeping it clean and things like that, and making the landlord or property manager aware of when there's an issue. And then there's other tenant related issues, and we'll go into that in a little bit, but those are the two items. All right, next. How often? So that's the $1,000 question. Everybody wants to know, how often do you inspect? Well, here we go. There's a balance between the real world and the ideal world. In the ideal world, we would just, know what's going on with the property. We could pop in whenever we wanted to, like there was no tenants there. But in real life, there's tenants in the property, and they don't really want you in the property at all. That is their home, so they feel like they're being intruded upon every time you go in. So you need to strike a balance between abusing the rights that you have and keeping your tenants happy. In the ideal world, inspections would probably be about every 3 months. But that's a lot of work on your end and a lot of intrusion on the tenant's end. So in real life, it's probably best about every 6 to 12 months. 12 months being the far, far, far outside. So every 6 months is what we do here at Empire, and that strikes a nice balance. However, I will say that every 6 months, taking a look at the property is a bit too long because a lot can happen in 6 months. I mean, a lot. So there needs to be some other method of keeping up with the property. And so what we've come up with Empire is we drive by. And we drive by every property almost every single month. Now I say almost every single month because in the summer times it's hopping. We have a lot of vacancies, and filling properties and getting all the turnovers completed is our top priority. So it may go 2 months in the heat of the summer, but generally it's every single month we drive by every single property, and that seems to be strike a pretty good balance between every 6 months and then seeing the property more often. So those drive-bys are you know, they're not creepy. We're not stalking the property. We don't get out of our car, and if you're doing this yourself, you shouldn't get out of the car either. You don't walk the sidewalks. You don't walk up to the property. You don't creep on the tenants by peeking through holes in the fence and everything else. You're basically drive by. We take a picture from the street. It's a really quick picture. We don't sit and take video of it or anything like that because people are, you know, tenants will be creeped out by that. And we don't want that. We want them to we want the tenants to know that we're interested in the condition of the property. And so from the street, you can tell quite a bit. Cars are clean, parked where they're supposed to be. Trash cans are upright and, you know, not overflowing with garbage. You know, there's the yard is mowed and neatly dealt with, you know, according to the season. And the house just looks tidy and where you left it last month. Then if things are good on the outside, generally they're as good or better on the inside. And so that has proven to be true nearly all the time. And so we rely on these drive-bys pretty heavily. So what does an inspection look like? So you've contacted the tenants, set up a time, you arrive, and what are you going to do? So first thing, of course, like I just said, is that you try and do it when the tenant is there. So this is really important. They live in the property. They know the issues that you're just not going to be able to discover. Hopefully they're paying attention. And if they see right away when you start the tenancy, if they see that you're interested in the condition of the property and you're interested in taking care of these maintenance issues, then they will pay attention. Excuse me. And so second reason you want them there is it's time to build, you know, to maintain that relationship that you started when the tenants moved in. So you're not friends. You're never friends with your tenants. It's a difficult situation. Sometimes you really want to be. We call it a friendly business relationship. You're on friendly terms. You are there to serve. Tenants are your customers. No matter, you know, there's a lot of politicians that like to make war between landlords and tenants. We can't let ourselves be pulled over that direction. Tenants are our customers, and we need to treat them like appreciated customers. And so that's why you're there. The biggest reason you're not there to, you know, root through their underwear drawer and make them uncomfortable. You're there to take care of the product that they are buying from you. And so and it's time to build some relationship with them and let them know that you are there to help. All right. First thing you're going to do is you're going to look over the overall condition of the property. So hopefully you have a checklist. I know at Empire we have a very detailed checklist where we can add photographs, pictures at every stage, and comments about the condition of each item. So when we walk through a room, every part of that room has a section that we can mark off. And so that's really important so that you don't forget items to look at, because you want to be efficient while you're there. And if you're just walking around without any purpose, then you could be wasting your time and the tenant's time and not doing a good job. All right, so you want to look at the overall condition, because next you're going to break down the specifics. So we go into every room, like I said. We have a checklist. If things are good, then we mark good, fair, you know, excellent, poor. And if it's poor, then we, you know, detail it, take pictures of it if there's something that needs to be fixed. But we go into every room. We look for leaks underneath the sinks, caulking around the tubs, windows, exterior doors. We check all the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in every single room. We check the appliances, filter furnaces. I'm not going to make an exhaustive list here, but we check landscaping and roof condition, moss buildup, gutters plugged up, all those things. And we try and be detailed but brief. And if you have a list, then you can be both. If you don't have a list, then you're basically just walking around aimlessly, and you're not going to be detailed, and you certainly won't be brief if you're trying to be detailed and don't have a list. All right, so, and you know, your time is valuable. The tenant's time is valuable. Sometimes they're taking a break, you know, to come over and meet you during the day from work, and so we want to make this as quick but detailed as we can. All right. So we're going to get the condition of the roof, paint, flooring, appliances, fixtures, landscaping. You're going to go through all those items. Make a detailed list of all the maintenance and repairs with pictures and written details. That's what we do at Empire. It's pretty detailed when needed and when not needed. We basically just check it off the list. So don't spend a bunch of time on things that don't need your attention. That way you have time to spend on the things that need your attention. So leaks and broken appliances and things like that, those are the items that need your attention. Leaks in the roof, leaks in the plumbing, major items that we're always looking for. Smoke detectors, that tenants are notorious for tampering with smoke detectors, especially if they're near the kitchen. You don't have to have them in the kitchen almost anywhere. But if they're even near the kitchen, then a lot of times they like to pull the batteries out, things like that. So basically, at Empire, they get one, stern warning, and then they will get a $250 fine. And sometimes they get the $250 fine right off the bat because we have to have operating smoke detectors in our properties. All right. So tenant-related issues, like we were just talking about the smoke detectors, should be identified at this time. It's critical that the tenant knows that you're on top of things and that you know and that they are expected to hold up their end of the bargain. They must be taking care of their property. And so you can't let them go into disrepair or let them damage the property. And so you should take care of any tenant-related issues at this point. All right, we're going to put it all together. So at that point, we record the details, pictures, and date them all together. So we have modern management software. And then, of course, we have an inspection app that talks directly with our management software. So it's really efficient that, because we go in with the app and we record pictures right into the property details. So if you're doing this yourself, you're going to have to take pictures and then put it on a file and store it on your hard drive or whatever you're going to do there. We used the Dropbox for a long time before we had management software. And so, and that worked really fine. And so, but it's not as tight as using management software, I will say, and it's not as quick and efficient. Create your, make a plan on how to move forward. So you're going to make a plan, and that's a twofold plan because you're going to have tenant issues and maintenance issues. Not every time. Sometimes you walk through the property and do your inspection and everything is just perfect. Probably 3/4 of the time, there's at least some small item to deal with. Every property, 6 months in between inspections, there really needs to be something. Unless it's a brand new home and things haven't started wearing out yet. But if the house is 10 plus years old, there's really something almost every single inspection. And especially with its water-related issue, you want to deal with it promptly. Tenant-related issues are almost need to be dealt with as promptly as water issues because you don't want the trail to grow cold, so to speak. You want the tenant to know that these things are important to you, tenant-related issues, and then also maintenance issues. If you treat the property like you don't care, they are going to treat the property like they don't care because nobody cares. And that's just the way it is. So if you care about the property, they will care about the property. All right. So that's just kind of a cursory overview of how we do inspections over at Empire. It's not complicated. It's mostly just hard work. If you want to get in, we're happy to have you. And as always, happy landlording.